Hello everyone, this is Kiran from the Kiran Academy. Today we are going to see into questions on very important topic, very basic topic, that is data types. Without data types, you cannot write a code. Data types are used for storing values into the variables. It's very simple. So let's move on to interview questions related to data types concept. So first question here on the screen, you can see what are the primitive data types in Java. So there are multiple data types, primitive data types and reference type data types are there. So here we are talking about primitive data types. So primitive data types are there, total 8. So you should be starting with byte, short, then int, long, float, double, character and boolean. So like that 8 data types you should be knowing. In next interview question, we'll be seeing some detail of it. You should also be knowing all default values related to each data type, which I told just now. You should also know the memory allocation required for these data types. For example, character will have 2, byte have 1, int have 4, like that in detail you should be knowing. So this question was just for what are the primitive types in Java. So I told 8. Coming to next question. Next question is, explain the difference between primitive data type and reference data type. So whatever I told, int, float, char, all these are primitive data types. They are inbuilt. These are the keywords in Java. Int, int, it's a keyword, reserve keyword I would say. And the reference data types, that is like any object when you create. Any object, like animal is a class. So if you create object of it, then it will be called as a reference data type. Just to tell you in detail, if you are writing int a equal to 90, so it's a primitive data type. Whereas if you write like this, merchant m equal to null, so here this m is reference data type. You can have variables and methods inside this. So this is very simple. This is, I would say, some people says user defined data type, custom data type, different names are there. Here in this question, it is called as reference data type. These are inbuilt. These are the primitive data types. So I hope this question's answer also you understood. Next question. What is autoboxing and unboxing in Java? Try to understand. Name itself says autoboxing. Autoboxing means automatic conversion. Boxing means conversion. Means one data type to another data type. Try to understand these two things. Autoboxing and unboxing. I'll tell you in simple words. If you have bigger data type and you are trying to convert that into smaller data type. Remember, you need typecasting. It's very simple. You need typecasting. If something happening automatically, then that would be autoboxing. To make it more simpler, I will tell you one thing. If primitive data type is getting converted to wrapper classes, then that would be autoboxing. But if you have wrapper class and you are trying to convert that into smaller, this is primitive, then that will be considered as unboxing. So I'll write here for your reference, this is called as maybe autoboxing and this is unboxing. I was telling you about typecasting also. Here I shown you typecasting. So remember this concept. So bigger to smaller, that will be automatic, that is a typecasting. But smaller to bigger, again you need typecasting. But this question was only about autoboxing and unboxing. So don't get confused. This will be the concept for autoboxing and unboxing. Let's say I'll show more examples in this. As these courses we are bringing very detailed explanations. So some videos might be longer. You need to stay with it, understand the concepts, stay longer with the video to understand completely, so that you will be preparing well and you will be cracking more and more interviews. So here, if I am writing int I equal to 5, and if I write like this integer I equal to double I equal to I, then this I is used here, then this will be a autoboxing. But if I do reverse, then that will be unboxing. Integer I equal to new integer 15, and if I'm trying to put like this all will happen automatically. Int x equal to I, then that will be unboxing. So this is very simple concept. Next, let's move to next question. How does the size of int data type vary in different Java implementation? First of all, they have made it very clear integer data type is taking 4 bytes, that is 32 bits. So if you go for any operating system, as Java is platform independent, it will remain same, and that makes a consistent behavior. In other languages like embedded system, there will be different sizing for integers for different platforms, but in Java that is not the case. It is consistent. It's 32 bits, 4 bytes. 1 byte is of 8 bits, so 4 into 8 is 32. What is default value of char data type in Java? It's a space, blank space. Explain the purpose of the Boolean data type in Java. Boolean data type means true, false. If you are making anything conditional, or if you are putting if condition, then it gives you result true or false. You can define Boolean data types like Boolean flag. If you don't define any value, then it will be a false. So Boolean is just to check yes or no. That's it. By default is false. By default value is false. What is difference between float and double in Java? Float means for smaller numbers. Double means for longer numbers or bigger numbers. It's not number, floating numbers. Means, I mean to say here, in this case, if you write float like this, float f equal to 3.6, you need to write like this. But if you write like this, double d equal to 3.6, then this is also correct, this is also correct. Here, remember, f you need to write. Here, you don't need to write f. Even you can do like this, double x equal to 1.4 plus 1.6, no problem. It's a bigger float, I would say. But here, if you are doing addition, you need to write like this, float f 3.6 f plus 3.8 f. Try to understand, in float you need to have f. If you have longer precisions, means if you are working at micro level, means after decimal if longer uh, values are there, longer digits are there, then you go for double. So it's according to need, how your application is, how your requirement is. Next question, guys. What is string data type? How is string object different from other primitive data type? Yes, many people get confused here. We feel string is a primitive data type. What are the data types in Java? They say string. It's a wrong answer. You should ask first whether you are asking me object type data types, or you might be asking me primitive data types. Primitive, I already told in float char. Here it is asked string. Default value is null. For string, default value is null. But in case of primitives, it might be 0, blank, false, or something else. To define string data type, I will show you example like this. You can define string x equal to the Kiran Academy. So this is how we define string. If you don't define, then it will be considered as a null. Null is a default value for string. There is another way to define this string. String x equal to new string. Just a second. These are the two ways to define data type for string. One without new and one with new. You can check my another chapter where interview questions are related to string, so you will get more clarity. Coming to next question. What is significance of final keyword when applied to variable in Java? You can see more things on final in my final chapter. Final, in this course, I have included one video for especially for final. So final means you cannot change. Final means you cannot change. It's very simple. So if you make variable, you cannot change value. Explain the concept of typecasting in Java. This I already explained you some time before, like typecasting. This one. So if you are changing int to long, it's very simple. That is a typecasting. But if you are changing long to int, then you need to tell compiler that I am doing it intentionally. I mean to say, in this case, if you have int I equal to 50, and if you want to put long L equal to I, Java doesn't have problem. No typecasting needed. But if you are doing like this, long L equal to 60, and if you are trying to put int x equal to I, Java will be giving you error. Here you will get error. Why error? Because you have not done typecasting. So what you should be doing, instead of doing this, you should be doing here long, sorry, not long, integer, and here you will be putting L. It's very simple. What I mean to say, if you're converting data type from smaller to bigger or bigger to smaller, then typecasting comes into picture. Next question, how does the instance of operator work in Java concerning data types? It is instance of. Instance of means checking uh, whether this is an object of something or not. I mean to say, if you have class like this, customer C equal to new customer, then you can check C instance of customer. If, then do something. See, in Java, there is superclass and it has multiple subclasses. Maybe animal may have dog, cat, lion, tiger. So you can do like this, animal A equal to new dog. So in this case, A is instance of animal as well as A is instance of dog. So like that checking you can do. Next question, coming to next question, that is discuss the role of enum data type in Java. Enum. What is this enum means? Enum is it's like an array where you can store multiple elements. But remember, this is syntax I have already given here. In enum, variables are public, final, static, like an interface. You can store multiple elements here. You can access them by the name of enum. Coming to next question, what is the purpose of byte data type and when would you use it? Byte is the smallest data type. Minus 127 to plus 128 is range. You need to use byte data type when you are talking about networking, like on cloud you are transferring some data. So byte by byte it goes. If you look at the file input stream, there also every byte is getting read. So what I mean to say, whenever you are dealing with very small values, you must be going through data type like networking or maybe file transfers. So like that things will need this data type. Coming to next question, how does the char data type store character in Java? It's very simple. By sequence of characters, you will be getting one word that can be considered as a string. So characters make a string. So character by default value is blank. You can have multiple characters, you can concatenate them, you can convert them to string. There are multiple ways to convert. So here, how does the char data type store characters in Java? It's very simple. It's a single character. In single quote, you need to write, not in double quote. If you write double quote, then it will be considered as a string. Next question. Can you declare variable without initialization in Java? Answer is yes, you can, but not local variable. If global variables are declared without initialization, then they will be defaulted with their default value. For example, if you write like this, int p and nothing, and if you go for printing it, then it prints 0. If you are writing boolean x, then it prints false. What I mean to say, if these are the global variables, they are automatically initialized. But if you write like this, remember, this course is interview question. So you may get a question like this. Interviewer might write on paper like this, void m1, and he will say int _z, what it will print. And if you give answer as 0, then it's wrong answer. Why? Because It's a local variable, and local variables will never get initialized in Java. You have to initialize. But instead of that, if it would have been a global variable, maybe this is int p, and if you go for here printing SOPP, then obviously it becomes 0. So remember, guys, you need to remember this. If you're talking about global variables, then they will be initialized. If you're talking about local variables, then they won't be initialized with their default values. So that's it, guys. So these are the two parts of data types we have prepared here. One part has some questions of data type, and this was another part where I covered most of the questions. Today we are going to see multiple interview questions on if and else. Some people says if else. So this is one of the important topic in Java. So let's continue with the interview questions. So first question here. Explain the difference between the if statement and the else if statement in Java. If means if something happens, then do this. If not happen means do something, that is else. So we need to write some condition in if. You cannot write some integer over there. So if you want to have something which is very conditional, for example, if you want to perform something, then you write here. You can only write else over here, no problem. If condition true, then this will execute. If condition is false, then this will, like something 5 is less than 6. Now it's true condition, so this is gonna happen. If not, then this is gonna happen. But in our question, else if is asked. Means what? Means if some condition, and they are saying else if, and then again putting some condition over there. So here you are putting two conditions, one here and another is here. So if this is true, then do this. But remember here, it will never come directly here. First it is getting evaluated, then only this step will get executed. It's very simple. So I told you here if else if. So remember these two both types. Coming to next question. Next question is explain the difference between the if statement and the else if statement in Java. I already explained that in the previous question. You need to represent that properly in front of interviewer. Explain the concept of nested if else statement in Java. What it means to say, if this is a case, you can keep writing this else if unless your requirement is complete, like this. You keep on writing like this else if. But remember what I told in first question, it will always first execute this condition. If false, then only come here. If false, then only come here. If false, then come here. If it gets this condition true, then these both conditions will not get executed. It's very simple. So every condition is getting evaluated. This is time consuming also. For overcoming this problem, there is something called switch. We'll be seeing that in another video. So this is what the nested if, multiple if else. Then how does the order of if and else if conditions affect the program behavior? It's very simple. If you need to write first, you cannot write else block first, and after else only you can have if else. Other than that, not possible. Discuss the difference between double equal to operator and dot equals. This question is very important. Double equal to means it checks the address, it checks reference, but dot equals means it checks content of a string. But one more tricky thing is there. See, if someone asks you equals method, see here what trick is there. If someone asks you equals method, then you can say content will get checked. But if he says no, that's not a case, then he is also true, because you was talking equals method of string class and he was talking equals method of object class. This trick you should be knowing. Here content will get checked, but here again address will get checked. Don't get confused. So you can say, tell me something about equals method. You should ask whether you are asking me equals method of string class or you are asking me equals method of object class. If it's object class, then it is equivalent to double equal to sign. But if it's of string class, then it is checking content. It's very simple. So this was one of the tricky question. So that's the end of if else. concept in Java. We'll be moving to next chapter. In today's chapter, we are going to learn all interview questions related to switch statement, which is very important, and it is alternative to if-else statements. So let's move on to first question. Explain the purpose of switch statement in Java. You should be giving answer like, if you have multiple conditions and it is defined that in this case I need to go with this. You don't want to do any evaluation. Means condition is already fixed. You don't want to keep on evaluating always. Let's say if day is Monday, then do this. If day is Tuesday, then they do this. Then you will be going for switch statement. In if-else, what happens? It is time consuming. 10 if-else is there, 5 if-else is there. Every time it is getting evaluated. If this is correct, this is correct, this is correct, or this is correct. But in switch statement, you don't need to worry about. Already decision is made. Now directly move on to that condition and execute the code. It's very simple. Next question. What is the limitation of types that can be used in switch statement? This is a very tricky question and you should be knowing. What Java is allowing? Byte is getting allowed, short is getting allowed, char is getting allowed, and integer is getting allowed. These 4 types. But in JDK 7, they introduced string also, which solved many problems of the Java developers in the industry. This was very important that they gave this updation to their Java version. So these are the 5 things you can write in the switch statements. I would not say it's a limitation, it's a feature. Discuss the significance of the break statement within a switch statement. Yeah, let me tell you this in detail. So whenever you're writing switch statement, some expression you'll be writing here, something you'll write, some condition. Then first case will be there, case 1 something, then case 2 will be there. If you don't write break statement here after finishing, if you don't write this, then case 1 and case 2 will get executed sequentially. But if you write break, means I already told you in one of the video, if you look at my break continue, that is loop video, there I already explained this. Break means execute complete flow, means execute this and execute this, means it will not wait for you. It will not wait for you. So I mean to say here, if you write break, it won't go down. So this is what the significance of the break statement. Can you use strings in switch statement Java? I already told in JDK 7 they have introduced, yes, you can use string. That solved many problems of Java developers. How does the default case works in switch statement? Default means here you can write, which is optional. Many freshers think that default is compulsion. No, default is just optional. You write, you don't write, no, doesn't matter. So if in this case, this condition not satisfied, this condition not satisfied, then Java execute this one. This is default block. Coming to next question. What happens if you omit the break statement in switch case? I already told, if you don't write break means cases will start executing one by one continuously. So you don't get proper result. That might not be a requirement many times. Always you should be writing break statement for every case statement. Coming to next question. Compare the contrast the if-else ladder with a switch statement. When you would prefer which one? I already told at the beginning of this video. If-else means, if you write if-else, if something, then again else if something, then again else if something. What happens here? To reach to this code, it checked this, and then it moves. But it would have been a switch statement, which I already told. Decision is made here. Directly it is reaching to this, means you are saving time. You are optimizing yourself. So which is better if you ask me? Obviously, it depends upon the requirements. But if you ask me directly which is best to use, I would go with this, not with this. If I have multiple conditions and it is predefined. So with this, I'm closing this chapter. This was related to switch statement. Let's meet in the next video. This topic is very, very important, and the topic name is for loop or while loop, do while loop. Multiple loops are there in Java. So we are going to discuss all kind of loops and all interview questions related to these loops. Let's move on to first question. So first question is, explain the difference between the For loop, while loop, and do while loop. Remember, guys, first you need to remember syntax of all these three. So I'm going to explain you this thing here. Let's say for loop. How to write for loop? You need to write like this: int I equal to 0, I less than 10, and I plus plus. So this is a for loop. How while loop you need to write? While some condition over here, and then some logic will be here. How to write do while? Just write do and then while and some condition. So first of all, this is syntax. Now in this question it has been asked, can you explain all of these? So you should be explaining. In for loop you have initialization at start, then condition, and then increment. In while loop you don't have initialization, you don't have increment. So what I would say, why to use while loop? I will use while loop if I don't know how much I want to increment. I don't know if what value to be initialized, then I'll go for while loop. What is in do while? This condition, whatever code you write here doesn't have any condition. Unconditional means this will execute always, but this code will be always depend upon this condition. It's very simple. So I tried to explain you all three loops. Okay. So moving to next question. Next question is, how does the for each loop simplify array and collection traversal in Java? It's very important question. See, now we know this for loop. We know this for loop. What they asked us, for each loop means for loop, you know, three things you need to write here: initialization, then condition, and then increment. Whereas in for each loop, you will have only two things. Here colon will be there, here data type, which data type you want to use, and here array or collection. To see this in more detail, I would say, let's say there is example int x, something like this, and some values are there, 5, 8, 9, anything. And if you want to initialize this, then in ordinary for loop, you need to have like this: x dot length you will be using here I plus plus, and here I equal to 0. But if you go with the for each loop, which is introduced in JDK 5, you will have a simpler way of doing this: for colon x integer p and SOP. Here if you look at, you don't need to mention condition. Here less than and greater than is confusing. People don't understand this. Here you don't need to, here you need to increment, but here you don't need to increment. So that is different. But remember, as this is a series which I am building for you all, which you have bought in this marketplace, I want to give you some tricky things also. Here, remember, this for loop at compile time converts into this for loop. So if someone asks for development which is faster, you should this. If someone asks performance wise which will be faster than this, because this for loop needs to get converted into this. Widely used for loop, which one? Then answer is this. This for loop everybody is using these days. So just remember difference between these two. This question was very important. Next question. Discuss the purpose of break statement in Java. Break means terminate. Unusual. It's just terminate. Don't go ahead. So if you have for loop, here, something int x colon something list, and if you do like this, if x is less than 5, and then break means this for loop will get terminated. No statements after this break will get executed. Means if you write some SOP here, it will never get printed. Automatically it comes here after for loop. Let's say this is a for loop we have designed. So if you do break, means it comes out of the for loop and start executing some lines written below. Remember this, break means termination. Termination of what? For loop. So it's very simple, guys. So next question, what is the role of the continue statement in the loop? Continue means skip, break means terminate, continue means skip. So if I come here and if you write instead of break, if you write here continue, what is going to happen? Only this part will get skipped. Only this part will get skipped. Whether for loop will continue or not, answer is yes. For loop will continue, but this code execution will be reduced and it will get skipped. So next question is, how does an infinite loop occurs and how can it be avoided? Very simple question. Sometimes we do mistakes. Let's say while, and if you put some condition over here, and now it remains true indefinitely, then this loop keep executing. Your system may get hang, memory will get memory shortage will be there, and due to that your system will get hang and may get terminated. So this is not a good thing to do. But if you are writing some schedulers, then some people run this while loop infinitely. We don't need to take care of then whether it will be blocking your system or not. Put some condition over here and then do. In case of for loop, if you just write like this, don't put any condition here, means it runs infinite times. Very simple, guys. Now question also asking us how you can avoid this. So very simple, I would say answer is put some condition over here. Put some condition over here which is stopping you from running infinitely, Otherwise, it will keep on executing a code. Next question. Explain the concept of nested loop in Java. Explain the concept of nested loop in Java. Means what? See, in Java, you can have multiple for loops also. Some conditions, something will be here. Now, what happens here? These for loops start executing once, and then this for loop will get finished. Then again this for loop will start for second number, and again this for loop will execute completely. I mean to say here, if I equal to 0, I less than 6, I plus plus, and here j equal to 2, j less than 10, j plus plus, then first it will print 0, that's not a problem, but here 2 to 10 will get printed. Then again I will print 1, this one, again 2 to 10 will get printed. So output will be 0, 2 to 10, then again 1, 2 to 10, like that. If you write here, try to understand one concept, guys, it's very important. If you write break, then everything will be vanished, it comes out of it. But if you write continue, then this for loop will get skipped. It's very simple. It skipped means it executes internally, but it continuously not doing anything. So that is the difference. Break means terminate everything. Continue means current loop. That's it. So this is one of the things, guys, which is very important. What is the significance of the initialization, condition, and iteration parts of for loop? I already told, if you know iteration, how much you want to iterate, then I plus plus you can write, I equal to I plus 2 also you can write. If you want to have more detailed snap of it, I will explain it. Int I equal to 0, I less than 10, I plus plus, SOP I. So what will be the sequence here? Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8, number 9. Try to understand. Means every time you remember, whenever you are going inside the for loop, this condition must be checked. No way other than that. You might have seen do while loop, which I told earlier. It doesn't check condition for that do block. But here, to reach out inside the for loop, condition must be checked. It's very simple, guys. Moving to next question. Next question, can you exit a for loop prematurely in Java? I already told that is a break statement. Yes. How do you iterate through the elements of multi-dimensional array using loops in Java? Yes, you can do that. You can do multi-dimensional means it will be like this, int x and then something like this, comma, something like this. Some elements will be there, some elements will be there. This is multi-dimensional array. Now, how to iterate it? First iterate over this, then iterate over this. So, two for conditions will be there. Two for conditions will be there. Like this, you need to explain, guys. This is x dot length. You will be putting condition here as a x dot length. Just remember this, very simple. Here, the condition would be x dot length. Here, x of I dot length. Very simple. X dot I means this. Second for loop will be referring to this. First is referring to complete this. So it's very simple. You can practice for these questions. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages of using a for loop or a while loop. If you know how much to be incremented, go with the for loop. If you don't know, go with the while loop. You don't know what should be the initialization, or on the basis of some condition you are doing that, go for while loop. But if you already know that I equal to 0, I equal to 6, starting from 6, then go with the for loop. You have more flexibility in the while loop. You can control the increment, sometimes by 5, sometimes by 9. But in for loop, you don't get that option. There you need to specify inside for loop like how much you want to increment. So this is one aspect of telling difference between for loop and while loop. So with this, I am closing the chapter of loops, where we have discussed a lot of interview questions, lot of concept I tried to explain you. I hope you will be remembering those and cracking the interviews which are coming in front of you. Today we are going to see very important topic, that is package. We will be discussing many of the interview questions which are very important for this concept. These questions will be asked in an interview. You need to answer in a proper way. Let's move on to the first question. So first question is there on the screen. The question is, what is a package in Java and how does it contribute to code organization? Mean to say, let's say you know the package. What this question is saying, if you know the package concept, how it is contributing in an industry for code organization, means you need to organize code properly. So let me explain you first discuss it. As this is the first question, I will be explaining that question in detail, which will solve other questions. So what does package means? Let's say, very simple, you have a lot of files, lot of Java files, and if you keep all these files in one folder, tomorrow if you want some file to be removed or accessed, then it is very difficult. Let's say this is a loan project and this is related to home loan, this is personal loan, this is car loan, this is X loan, this is Y, Z. If you want to deal with home loan, then it is very difficult to find this file over here. Therefore, package comes into picture. What happens? Package means this is home loan package, this is personal loan package. Package means folder. So create different folders. So whenever you create different folders, let's say this is related to home loan, this is related to personal loan, this is related to car loan, this is related to personal or business loan, then it will be very easy to retrieve the files, to call the files. So this is what the concept. You need to explain in this way. Package is a concept. Package means folder, which will be used to organize code properly. How that will be? As we have different folders for different purpose, we can retrieve, we can access any file anytime very easily. Tomorrow, if you want to delete something, it's very easy to delete if you organize properly. If someone asks you real-time example, you can say, let's say in our system, lot of songs are stored. We don't know which are old songs and which are the latest songs. But while storing, if we create two folders, one is with old songs, another is with latest song, it will be very easy to retrieve any song, anytime, very efficiently. So you need to explain this descriptive manner so that interviewer will get to know that your concepts are very clear. So let's move on to next question. Next question is, Can you explain? Can you explain the significance of package statement in a Java source file? Yes, package statement should be written in like this: package com dot the Kiran Academy dot customer. So this is what the package statement which we need to write at the top of the any class file, any source code. It's very simple. Next question is, how do you import a specific class from another package in Java? It's very simple. We need to use import statement. Import statement should be having file name. Let me show you that also. Import com dot jbk dot home loan dot penalty. So here in this case, it's very simple. Remember, this is import statement. This is a root folder. This is a at last we'll have a file name. This is a subfolder of com. This is subfolder of jbk. So folder structure will be like this: com will be here, then jbk will be here, then home loan will be here, and then penalty file will be here. So this folder has this folder, this folder has this folder. So this is a com, this is jbk, and this is home loan. Like that structure industry is adopting. Com means commercial, JBK is a Java by Kiran or the Kiran Academy, that is a company name, home loan is a project name, and then we can have different module names also. And then we can have these files. So it's very simple, guys. So let's move on to next question. Next question is, discuss the difference between the import statement and the package statement. It's very simple. Package means where you are. Import means to whom you want to use. Import statement can be many, but package statement should be only one, as one file can stay in only one folder. Import statement means multiple files you can import. Let's move on to next question. Explain the purpose of jar command in Java and how it relates to package. See, you create multiple packages. You create multiple packages. One root folder will be there, and there are multiple packages like this. Now this is one project. Now you want to use another project here, like that many files are there. Now this project want to use this project. So how to do that? We need to create jar file of this project, and we need to import that in this project. It's very simple. Therefore, to use one project into another project, we need to go for jar concept. That is a jar command. I'll be showing that you in one of the another video how that will be used. Next, how does Java handle naming conflict between the classes in different packages? It's very simple again, guys. Let's say there is one package, this is another package. Here also we have a class, here also we have a class. This is com dot hi, this is com dot hello. Now here it's B class, which is under com dot good morning something. Just imagine, guys. So I have B class, I have A class, I have again A class. But try to understand, this is under hi, this is under hello. So if you want to use these two classes in B class, then we need to use like this: com dot hi dot A. Import statement will not work in this case. A equal to new com dot hi dot A. So this is one of the interesting question interviewer might ask you, because if you write import statement, then naming ambiguity will be happening. If you want to use this, you need to write like this: com dot hello dot a1 equal to new com dot hello dot A. So these are the ways to resolve the conflicts. Coming to next question. Can you provide an example of using Java naming convention for packages, and why are they important? Yes, there is some standard, the standard which I already told, but in short, I will tell you again. So firstly, we'll write com or maybe or maybe educational website or something. or org if it is a open source. Then com means commercial. Then we mostly write company name. So here the Kiran Academy. Then we write project name, home loan. Then we write module name. So this is home loan project. Then we write module name, penalty maybe. Then we write sub module name, and then we write class file name. So this is the industry standard. These two things, if you write, people will get to know whether it's a commercial project, whether this is developed by the Kiran Academy, and this is a project. And this is a project which is related to home loan. Let's move on to next question. What is package in Java and how does it contribute to code to the organization? I already told you this in previous question. This question is repeated, I think, so I'll skip this question. Describe a situation where using packages in Java significantly improved the organization and readability of your code. I already told you in previous questions this thing. How it has been organized. We want to remove something, it's easy to remove. We want to access something, it's very easy to access. It's very easy to locate something. So this was the last question, guys. Now let's move on to next video where we'll be discussing more and more interview questions. I hope you are understanding all the interview questions I'm covering right from the first session to the this session. I hope you'll be going through every question very thoroughly. This series is for experienced as well as freshers. To access more and more videos, to access more and more courses, log on to the Kiran Academy and get any course which is listed there. Thank you.